Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of Yes Golf Podcast, and we have here Ben Barber. Thanks for joining in. He is the high swing speed golfer that we know. We just did a test on T Height. If you haven't watched it, go ahead and check it out. But Ben, you have a Instagram and TikTok, Barber Golfs, right? Where I found it really interesting because you have this series of videos titled Golf Tips I Wish I Knew Before I Was a Scratch Golfer.
Yeah.
Is that right?
No, that's spot on.
Yeah, so, and I see myself just scrolling because they're so good.
Oh, thank
and
you.
I feel like I wanted to get it out to my audience. So obviously, you're a scratch golfer. How long have you been playing? I know you haven't played for that long, right?
Yeah, no, I started when I was 15 and I was mostly self-taught, which is kind of the reason I started the series. I think a lot of kids around that age, you come in, you're not getting a lot of lessons right away, so you're kind of figuring it out yourself. And I seem to figure it out okay, so try to give back of kind of what I picked up along the way.
Yeah, and you have a little bit of a baseball background, right? Yeah. So a lot of baseball players are golfers, so I think those are all very helpful. And what we want to do is basically top 5 things from series of those videos. How many videos have you done so far?
Man, I think I'm on like 160 or something of those. Yeah,
a
lot.
So there's 160 tips that you can learn from Ben if you go to the Instagram and TikTok account. So this is gonna be the top 5 from the 160 tips. I find it super helpful, so hopefully you find it helpful as well. So let's start with the first one.
Sure.
Tell us about it.
The first one I have is kind of sometimes mental, is, kind of golf is a game of misses. And the best miss is going to win.
It's kind of like the mindset.
Yeah, a little bit more like that. There's maybe 2 shots per round where I'm hitting the exact shot that I wanted to hit. And I think on tour, maybe it's 4 or 5. And then for higher handicaps, it's sometimes 0, maybe 1. So it's all about kind of, getting those misses to be as less penal as possible, right? And managing your misses is all golf is. Yeah.
So golf is a game of misses. Obviously, we've heard that messaging kind of thrown around. A lot of tour pros refer to it. Around what stage of your golfing journey did you understand that?
Oh, man, probably not soon enough. I definitely, once I got down to low single-digit handicap, I think I am a bit of a perfectionist, as we all are in golf. So I think we all try to hit every shot absolutely perfect, and that might have helped me get good at golf. But I think you get to a point where it's like, oh, you can shoot in the 70s, you maybe can shoot under par. You're less focused on trying to hit the perfect shot every time, and you're more, okay, where can I miss here? What's the best place to putt from, or where's the best place to chip from, or how bad is that bunker, and where's that pin? Is a short left miss okay with this pin, or you start analyzing the golf course a little differently and looking at it a little differently. So play around. Yeah.
So that's helpful that you elaborate on that, because when you said that, the first tip that you're giving us is that the mindset, that golf is a game of misses. What I went straight to it was thinking that, oh, maybe it's your mindset after you hit a bad shot, and kind of condoling yourself, just like say it's okay. But you're saying actually it's kind of even before you hit a certain shot.
Totally. Yeah.
So how does that happen for you? Are you thinking about, when you're hitting a golf ball, a possibility of this missing?
Yeah, I'm always thinking, where am I going to miss? Because basically you miss every time, right? Slightly. We're never hitting it in the middle every time. I mean, I'm always looking off the tee. I'm looking at the fairway. I'm looking where the trouble is off the tee, and I'm deciding where I'd want to miss if I was not hitting the fairway. And if there's a bunch of trouble left, I'm going to hit a fade off the tee. If there's a bunch of trouble right, I'm going to try to hit a draw and miss left.
Got it.
Yeah.
Oh, that's very helpful.
Yeah.
Okay, so what do you do when you actually do hit a bad shot?
I do get frustrated. Maybe a little, sometimes a little, maybe a little club tap, a little like, darn it, like just shrug it off. I am a firm believer in treating each golf shot on its own and not thinking ahead, not thinking in the past. It's important to think ahead, maybe hole by hole. You can kind of, play the hole backwards and think about that. I think that's another great tip is kind of look at the yardage, know your numbers, play the hole backwards in your head before you tee off. That's maybe a bonus tip. But yeah, I mean, you kind of treat each shot like it's its own. Shake it off if you hit a bad one, club twirl it, and get pumped up if you hit a good one. Because that's another good thing is that positive affirmation of bang, great shot. Like, I hit that. But yeah, I think just taking it one step at a time is really important.
Yeah. Another follow-up question is, you mentioned that you take each shot as its own. How does that apply in putts, when you're putting?
Yeah, that's maybe a little trickier sometimes.
Because you're probably trying to make it at that point, or
usually. Depends on how long you putt. I think anything outside of 30 feet, you're looking at that 3-foot circle around the hole. So maybe you are thinking a little bit ahead. But I try to make everything. I think everybody can become a really good putter if they do try to make everything while remaining in that 3-foot circle. I'm definitely guilty of getting a little scared when you're putting downhill and you're getting a little nervous and you tighten up and you try to kind of baby it down towards the hole and not get super aggressive. So it's definitely more feel, I think, in putting, right?
For sure.
Where you have to be a little cautious.
Do you think about, let's say there are slopes in the green, and there are, right? Do you feel like if it's downhill, if you miss it and it goes a little bit longer, that the next putt coming up it's going to be an uphill and you can be a little bit more aggressive?
Totally, yeah.
So do you think about all of that?
Yeah. I think definitely on those long lag putts, if there's a lot of slope, you do want to give yourself the best putt coming back, right? Uphill putts are generally a lot easier. You can be more aggressive with it. I heard somewhere that actually that whole theory about uphill and downhill putts is kind of backwards, but I don't quote me on that because I don't remember where I saw it. But
why don't you experiment and then put it as the next episode, the golf tips I was showing you. Okay, that's great. Man, the first tip is very, very helpful. Let's go on to the second one.
Sure. The next one I have is play by the rules. I think this is an interesting one that a lot of people nowadays don't do. I'm going to say it now to everybody. Gimmies should not exist. Gimmies should not exist unless you're playing in match play for money or if it's a serious match.
Why do you say that?
I just think everybody would be a lot better. I think you play, if you play by the rules, you're holding yourself accountable. You're more focused on actually scoring for yourself. I think everybody's handicaps would be a lot lower. I have a family over in the UK, and over there, you finish everything out unless you're in match play. And everybody's handicaps are fairly accurate. And a lot of my family over there, when I come over to play, it's a whole different golf, so I'm usually playing a little higher score than I normally would. But the consensus in the UK is that Americans come over and their handicaps are 4 to 5 shots lower than they actually are. And I think that's a main reason is we're picking up a lot of putts and we're playing friendly games with our friends and 4-footer, that's good, pick it up. And I don't think that should exist. Finish everything out.
Wow, that's a hot take. Let us know what you think about that. But I think you're saying that so that it actually helps you develop. It helps you lower your scores.
I think so. It's the way the golf is meant to be played, I think. If you're picking up and you're fluffing your lie and you're kicking it out from behind a tree to give yourself better, you're not playing golf. You're playing a different game. I think playing by the rules, taking your medicine, taking that penalty shot, taking that provisional when you hit it OB off the tee is so important because it might rattle you mentally, but if you can recover from those, you're going to be a lot better under pressure situations or when you need to make a big putt or a big shot. I think it's so valuable.
I feel like USGA account is just click follow on both of our accounts. Yes, they not sponsored by USGA, but that's a really good tip as well. So thanks for sharing that. Number 3, so third tip that you wish you knew before you turned a scratch golfer.
Yeah, I think this one maybe applies to a lot of people who maybe don't swing it as fast as where I'm at. But I think for the recreational golfer, distance off the tee and around your clubs, how far you hit your clubs does not matter. It's knowing how far you hit your clubs instead.
Oh, okay.
I think everybody chases distance. Off the tee, it's great. I would suggest that more people try to hit it farther off the tee, but I think it's way more important to know exactly how far you're hitting it. Another one of kind of my theories on wedges, at least, is I never hit a full wedge. I'm trying to hit control, because wedges is an accuracy game. It's not how far you can hit your sand wedge. You can hit your sand wedge 140 yards, but how close is it going to be to the hole? So I think for amateurs out there, if you really want to dial in and kind of get a lot better, knowing your distances is really important. Playing into your distances is really important.
What do you mean by that? Playing into your distance?
I think
leaving a certain yardage.
Yeah.
You can hit.
Where you're more comfortable.
Yeah.
I think a lot of the municipal courses around in the U.S. especially, a lot of those golf courses were kind of built back in maybe 50s, 60s era, where golf ball wasn't going as far. They're kind of planning out those landing zones at 250 to 270, and now guys are carrying at 315 yards. So that's a whole different game.
Right.
But for most people, that's still the average driving distance. And I think playing into that is important, and knowing playing the hole backwards, kind of we go back to that, is kind of picking out where you want to be for that second shot coming in, and doing all that is really important.
So for someone who's watching this video, they're maybe not a scratch golfer, maybe they're just they're bogey golfer. How closely should you be watching at your yardages? Because it's very easy to say, my 7-iron goes 150, therefore my 8-iron goes 140.
Yeah.
Do you recommend going into exactly 152?
I think so. I think the more accurate you can be, I think you'll just continuously start fine-tuning and kind of getting it there. I also think a lot of people feel like they hit their irons a lot farther than they actually do. I'm sure you've seen it in fitting, right? Guy comes in, 7-iron's usually 185, and then they'll get on and it's like 156, and you're like, well,
it's a bad job. Warm up a little
exactly. So I think we tend to overinflate how far we can hit it because we want to feel good, right? And we see everybody on TV hitting. We see Bryson hitting 9-iron from 200 yards, and we're like, well, but you don't, the guys like us, we know his clubs are crazy, strong lofted and stuff like that. So be honest with yourself on how far you hit your clubs, and know it. If you have the opportunity to get on a launch monitor and figure out your distances, or just even at the range, if you have a rangefinder, and hit the different targets on the range, see where clubs are going to that certain number, and kind of, you can write it down or keep mental notes. It's really important.
I think writing it down is very helpful. Or put it on your phone.
Yeah.
Like you said, when you use a rangefinder, it doesn't round up yardages. No. It gives you exact 153 or 157. And that's when you would be benefited from knowing your numbers exactly.
Totally.
So great tip there. Number 4. Let's talk about number 4.
Number 4. This is something that I've been working on a lot lately. I think a lot of swing faults can be solved in the first move in your takeaway. As soon as you bring your club back. I used to get extremely handsy with my takeaway, and my wrists would get really active, and I'd pick the club up really quickly and start wrapping it around my head, and it caused a lot of issues. And now the last maybe 6 months, my main swing thought is a good takeaway. And the way I try to do that myself is I feel, I have a little bit of pressure up in this area where your pec muscle or kind of shoulder and armpit area. And I feel like that is the force taking the club back. And I try to mainly only feel it in my left arm because as soon as my right gets involved is when I start picking it up and getting a little handsy. And I'm sure it's going to be different for everybody's different feels and stuff, but that's something that really helped me. It was kind of an eye-opening kind of like aha moment. So if that can help somebody else, I think it's valuable.
So you're saying most of your swing faults can be solved within the first part of the takeaway.
If you get in a good position there, you're more than likely going to be in a good position at the top, and then it's a lot easier.
A good position at the top, it will help you with your downswing.
Totally.
So it's kind of like a domino effect, right?
Exactly.
If you can take care of this part here, the rest of it will be much easier.
Yeah, exactly.
Got it.
Yeah.
Awesome. That's great.
Yeah.
So number 5, we're already on 5th tip that you wish you knew before you became a scratch golfer.
What I had written down is kind of something we already talked about, so I'll come up with a slightly different one and somewhat related to what we were talking about before, but take more club, I think, is an important one, especially for 15 handicap and up is important. Like we said, a lot of people maybe overinflate how far they hit their irons. This is mainly just for irons, this tip. But you can maybe hit your 7-iron 180 yards 1 out of 5 times, but the 4 out of the 5, where are you hitting it? Maybe 20 yards short, or you thin one a little bit long. And I think taking one extra club, swinging a little smoother, not trying to kill the ball, and prioritizing solid contact is paramount. I think it's really important to do. You'll be able to play a whole different type of golf. You can play 7 different shots with one club and figure that out and be a lot better.
That's really helpful. That's actually a tip that I heard from someone else that I've always reminded myself when I was getting better. Now I'm at a point where I know my numbers and I can play to that number. But before I was in that stage, it was really helpful to be able to take a little bit more club. And if I could just add there, I think knowing your equipment is super helpful.
Yeah.
I know golf is one of those sports where the equipment has a lot of in your game, right? If you think about a basketball, between a Wilson basketball and Spalding basketball, they're kind of around the same, right?
Yeah.
Same thing with the basketball shoes. But the equipment, this is something that you play with 14 equipments, right? If you think
a lot of
about
variability.
Or 15 if you're including the ball.
Yeah.
So I think knowing your equipment will help you. And it's about your golf journey, but it actually helped me to think about a tip that I wish I knew earlier. And it's that using certain part of a phase can be really, really helpful.
Yeah.
Sometimes we try to hit it always in the middle of the golf club, which is great if you do it all the time.
Yeah.
But I wish I knew that if you hit towards the toe of a club, it's most likely going to draw or put a left spin. If you hit it with towards the heel, it's naturally gonna want to fade.
Yeah.
Obviously, that changes with your club path and where your club is at impact. But if I had known that, I think my golf game, I think I could be more strategic in playing a round of golf.
Definitely.
So that's just something that I learned. Hopefully that was helpful to you. All of your tips were super helpful.
Oh, good.
So thanks for sharing that. But again, Ben has 100 and maybe 60 more in his Instagram and TikTok. So go ahead and follow him. It's going to be really, really helpful because it's short, right to the point, and then they're very, very spot on. So thank you guys so much for watching. If it was helpful, go ahead and like and subscribe. Follow this guy, Barber Golfs. And we're going to do another episode, so we'll see you very soon. Bye.
See ya.